is to get a person to realize that without saying it. These are skills that take time to develop. And unless you look at mental health full time, you're never going to truly develop and explore. The ATI book. Chapter 3 in your ATI book. So this is some of the material you'll have to a bit. We're going to go through a little bit more. In your ATI book, chapter 3, page 17, there are a host of supportive techniques for effective communication and non-verbal or ineffective communication techniques. And those are things you should do. And what you'll see is the question, what therapy communication is name what that is. And question 4, so that's the why here. Question 4 is the why for this question. And then number 3 is what's the best response based on therapeutic notion. So you can either utilize the ATI book, because they have a bunch on page 17. And in your textbook, what you'll see is a grid on therapeutic and non-therapeutic communication techniques. And you'll see that on mine, it's 10.5 and 10.2. I don't know versus tables, but what you want not, there will probably be a handful of questions on this. So if you get really wrapped up in it, don't focus. You can take 2 questions. Other elements in the nursing relationship, I feel like I don't have a transition slide to chapter 5. This is it for chapter 5. So let's, for a moment, I'm going to pull up some of those questions. Look at them. This is in module 4. Start talking about these questions. I'll leave it for just a second and let you think about what the answer is. What do you think? So as you think through this, the answer is in fact C. When we look at therapeutic communication, when we look at your question A, fosters your resistance of the concern that the patient has. C is a well-rounded answer for therapeutic response. That is validating emotion as being seen and asking asking clarifying questions beyond. Don't be silly.
B. B.
So as you think about this question in front of you, the best way to think about this is up here. Is that therapeutic, yes or no?
No.
No. So which of these implies it not being therapeutic? B is the only one. Okay? There are cases where, yes, we do provide optimism and assurance. Something like this could be, say, less than 1% of patients experience that complication. That's reassuring. Let's go through quick. It skips. Yeah, all one page. All right. Read the question first. Okay, so teenage patient, withdrawn, how you're feeling. Why is it considered therapeutic? That- What's that?
D. D.
This is that. This is example 4A. This is that. If it was me, I would do it.
Nobody asked you.
Exactly. So it's therapy. So these are available to you. Help practice and think about what to expect on the exam. So utilize the text and ATI, you'll be fine. I'll go through how many questions to expect, but ATI likes to ask questions that have you name, for example. Question 5 is something that ATI likes to ask. I hate to ask these types of questions, but I'm trying to align with ATI. This feedback I got after the last proctor. This is naming the therapeutic communication.
Clarification.
Is it reflection?
It is reflection. And this is where, for me to read through all, absolutely put you to sleep. But this is, in my book, it should be the same box 10.5, where it goes through all of them. There's some videos that go through them. I can happily play them, but that will likely just put you to sleep. This is where I would utilize and recommend that you use flashcards to, for the most part, identify what is therapeutic and what's not, and the basic name of why. So in the last content I want to just go through before we jump ship and go on break. The goal of therapeutic communication, at its most true, in its most truest sense, is to develop trust with the patient. Develop that relationship with the patient over time, and we're going to talk about the basis of the therapeutic relationship in a minute. But this chapter is where we're going to start to see some connectiveness with previous chapters. So, for example, if you have a patient, let's say in a nursing home, you think a nurse in a nursing home would say, "They're just your evening meds, don't worry, it's all good, it's the same ones you've been taking for years." That's not the true therapeutic response. The true therapeutic response in the they have the right to informed consent. And say, Aricept is for your memory, it's your lisinopril, it's for your blood pressure. Here's your Crestor for your cholesterol, whatever it is. And so part of my communication is to describe to people accurately what care they are receiving. Any questions about chapter 10? Chapter 10 is probably the most challenging of the chapters. And I will tell you that as you're studying for chapter 10, there's very little from chapter 11 and 12 to know. What's important about chapter 10 to know is that it will be in every exam you take in this course. What we're going to see as a difference here is exam 1 will have no relevant context. And you can use this to your benefit, if you will. The question will provide no real relevant context. So it doesn't really matter if they're depressed or psychotic or whatever else. It doesn't matter in the first exam. In subsequent exams, what we are going to do is take these techniques and morph them slightly and say, well, what specifically do we need to do with someone who is depressed? Or what do we specifically need to do with someone who is psychotic? How do we change the therapeutic communication techniques slightly? Or what are the most important points of communicating with a patient who is manic or depressed or psychotic? And that is where these skills are not solidified early. Exams 2, 3, and your final will become very challenging. We're not going to continuously repeat them. So get chapter 10 down early. It'll make everything else much easier down the line, because every exam, for the most part, will have at least a third of its questions. What is the most therapeutic or best response by the nurse? That's helpful. All right, let's go on break and see you at 6. And if anyone else has these, I'll take these and do it one.